Hey guys, this is a very cool video that was inspired by an illustration conference my university hosted last year. The speakers who were invited have worked or are working for Netflix, Disney, DreamWorks, and illustrated books and magazines. As I was watching their presentations, I took notes and thought I'd share with you the advice these artists gave to art students. As I share the amazing advice they gave, I'll be showing their artwork, and let's begin. The first piece of advice that just blew my mind relates to how to find a job. Several speakers shared that they found a job not through their talent or skill, but through connections. And I don't mean family connections or anything sketchy, but connections that they specifically and intentionally built themselves. Many of them said that the value of a good art education lies not only in the skills we learn, but also in the people we meet there. For example, teachers are often those who have worked in the industry before teaching, and they know how to get there and what it takes. Also, classmates are those who will be working in the industry at the same time as you, those who will be starting projects like you, and those who you might end up working with. For example, let's say a company needs an environmental artist. If they already know someone who is very good at drawing environments, they might approach that person first, before even putting the job opening out there. So, make networking everywhere a habit and build those connections. Get to know your classmates, maintain good relationships with your teachers, and just make friends. Even if you don't have the opportunity to go to an institution, but you are taking online courses, you can meet your classmates there. Or if you're totally self-taught, you can still look for people who do what you like and get to know them, collaborate on projects, and so on. Some lecturers at the conference have said that that's why they become members of art and illustration associations and clubs to network and become a part of the art community. But of course, this will only work if you're actually good at what you're doing. So the next tip has to do with improving your art skills. Some speakers talked about how one of the big mistakes artists make is that they draw in isolation. Not necessarily physical isolation, but mental isolation. Sometimes, as artists, we forget to learn from each other. We seek to be inspired by others. We don't study those in the industry. We don't look at who companies hire. Generally, companies hire those who they know can draw the way they want, the way the project requires. So it's important to study the places or areas you'd like to work in and fill your portfolio with art that shows that. When you look for references for your next piece, also look for similar works by other artists to see how a similar piece would be done in the industry. And that leads me to the third piece of advice I heard at this conference, which is to fill your portfolio with exactly what you want to do in the future. What's in your portfolio is what you will be commissioned and hired for. However, it might be a good idea to fill in the gaps in your portfolio too. One art director who was at the conference said that they like to see a person being good at something specific in their portfolio, but at the same time, they like knowing that an artist can be good at other things too. And speaking of making specific portfolios versus generalist portfolios, I've asked multiple professional artists and art directors about how specific a portfolio should be, and they all say different things, so I guess that a good rule of thumb is just don't put anything in your portfolio that you hated making. Another thing that one of the speakers said at the conference is to find art directors on social media, become their active followers, and see who they are following. I think getting to know the taste of potential employers is actually a really good idea. The next piece of advice I heard also really struck me. There were some very cool and successful artists speaking at the conference, so you'd think they have a cool job and don't need more sources of income, but many of them said that both at the beginning and at this point in their careers, they need multiple sources of income. They said that some projects take a long time and sometimes payment doesn't come until the end, and other projects eventually just end. Many speakers said that they are simultaneously working in a studio, doing freelance commissions, and working on a personal project or business. They advised not to expect that once you find one job, everything will be good and stable. And they advised not to rely on one source of income and to always expect to multitask. So this is it. Learn from professionals, network, fill your portfolio with work you love, and no slouch.